So, you want to hear a story, huh? One about treasure hunters. Have I got a story for you? Pandora. This is our home, but make no mistake, this is not a planet of peace and love. They say it's a wasteland, that it's dangerous, that only a fool would search for something of value here.
Was challenging, but also kind of exciting, because like the thing that a lot of people wanted from the first Borderlands was more story, so it's nice to be able to like, oh, I'm doing the thing that people wanted more of, and I can, you know, deliver on a very specific sort of promise there. So there was a lot of like figuring out, okay, where do the like tonal boundaries of Borderlands lie? Like, how dark can you go, how light can you go? And a lot of my first few months there were sort of figuring out where that lied, and I hope it worked out. The tone I was always sort of going for was like a Firefly kind of thing, where it's like a good 90% of Firefly is just, you know, characters cracking jokes with one another, and when it gets dark, it gets really frigging dark.
Do you ever just take a step back and think about how fictional characters can resonate with you? When I look back on this intro, it takes me back to a long time ago, sitting in my room while I fall deeper and deeper in love with the world of Borderlands. Late nights at friends' houses, all-nighters to try and marathon the story I'd already beaten a dozen times, even delving into the rabbit hole that is fanfiction just to try and get my next fix of the series. And it's funny, because in this intro I never realized just how much Marcus is aware of how foolish it is to expect Pandora to live up to anyone's expectations. In a way, I feel like that fool too, because sadly, the universe has been all but written off and practically abandoned outside of the games. And it's debatable whether the latest installment, Borderlands 3, even cared about the source material in the same way its predecessors did. I think the series is trapped by its own medium, because it allows people to tell themselves it's just another looter shooter. And they're right. Sort of.
How goes the shooting and looting? I was thinking about calling it schlooting, but it'll never catch on.
See, we hadn't seen a decline in the quality of the story until Borderlands 3, where neither of the series' lead writers returned to work on it. Mikey Newman, who wrote the first Borderlands and the Origins comics, suffered a stroke in 2011 that left him hospitalized for over a week. He returned to Gearbox after that, but left in 2017 after his health began to make working too difficult again. As for Anthony Birch, the lead writer of Borderlands 2 and consultant on pre-sequel, he left for professional reasons to explore bigger projects, and I can respect that. Sadly though, I believe that's how we ended up with so many missing elements in Borderlands 3. The first game was also, admittedly, very rough in the writing department, but the foundation it built for the next decade of storytelling was incredibly strong. We start the game and we're given control of these four characters we know nothing about, and the first thing we're told to do is start blasting.
Wow. But it's a lucky thing I had my pieces.
Your pieces?
My gun!
Oh.
Borderlands 1 makes it very clear from the start that the gameplay is the priority, and for what it does it well. Over 10 years later, and I still find myself regularly going back to it, which is something I can only really say about one or two other games.
Bang! Wow.
What I don't think I expected was how much of a shock I was in for with this series. I'm not just talking about the drastic leap in story quality that was Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2 either. I'm talking about improvements that were made within Borderlands 1, specifically the Secret Armory of General Knox. I didn't realize that this DLC was released just 3 months after the base game, in January of 2010. It's such a leap forward in terms of world building and introduces what has to be one of the most interesting characters of the series, Athena. Honestly, if anyone deserves to be in the main cast by now, it's her. In fact, I think her involvement in Borderlands 1 might just be the coolest retroactive fact about the games, so it really stunned when there was no mention of her in 3. And then we got Claptrap's new Robot Revolution, which comes out 8 months after General Knox, and it's here where we get the first ever interaction with Hyperion. They've just arrived on the planet, which, based on what we learned in pre-sequel, means Jack's not far behind. And a part of me really wishes, with the enhanced version Gearbox released in 2019, that they would have added a partially completed version of a Hyperion station we constantly see in 2, kind of like the incomplete Death Star. So, I have to ask myself, what is this video about then? Is it a Borderlands 3 hit piece? Am I just gushing over how much I love Borderlands 1? I haven't even talked about Borderlands 2, which you'll learn is my favorite in the series. So why, after years of silence on my channel, have I suddenly decided that this was the subject upon which to stake my return? And I've been asking myself these for a while I've tried to ignore this nagging feeling in the back of my mind telling me I needed to do something. And the answer I always come back to is almost disappointingly simple. It's what I care about. I love Borderlands. And I think that up until now I was happy with the stories we'd been given and the directions the characters had developed. Then we got Borderlands 3, and it began to slowly eat away at my adoration for the series, even negatively affecting some aspects of my enjoyment of the previous games in ways, and I just started to feel lost. Everything in 3 just feels so hollow, and it's like the intimacy of those late nights in front of a television and those all-nighters with my friends are just gone.
You've got to protect yourself from your feelings, Vault Hunter. Pay attention to which ones you nurture, and don't let the wrong ones consume you.
Listen, the last thing I want to do is keep going on about how much I dislike Borderlands 3's handling of this universe. So the final point I'll make, which I already have plans to discuss in the future, is that they could have done so much better if they'd wanted to.
So, you want to hear a story, huh? Well, too bad. This is Marcos time.
The one thing I have to say is that Bounty of Blood could have been the entire game, and it would have been perfect. Mwah! Also, Rose, my love, if you can hear this, please come back. I promise I won't call you Aisha ever again. Gearbox giving Evil Siren waifu. Do it. You won't.
Coward.
I know I said I love the universe of Borderlands, but I think more importantly, I love the fact that over time, the community has grown into this passionate niche filled with people who are like me, that just want to see the universe expand. Whether it's through more comics, fan fiction, lore analysis, or, in my case, a semi-decent tabletop campaign I ran for some friends, Borderlands is special. With 6 known galaxies charted and billions, if not trillions of light years between them, each filled to the brim with life and people struggling just to survive, the story manages to center very closely on just one tiny rock out in the fringes of space, in the borderlands of civilization.
He said it! He said it!
You have all this vastness to explore, but the creators have decided from day one to focus all of their efforts on this single point, and we get to know the people of Pandora very well. It's for that reason I'm drawn to the story, and why I feel so attached to the characters, because it's an intimate story about struggle and being able to band together with those you trust to overcome whatever this world or any other throws at you. It's nice. I feel like that's something a lot of people would want in their lives. So I think the question, what is this video about, is misleading, because my goal isn't to sway you over to my point of view. No, I think it's about sharing. I want to connect with people who feel the same way I do, and this is me reaching out. I want to make sure that as the community continues to grow, I do my part to ensure that there's a level of appreciation for the quiet moments, the times where, despite nobody firing or screaming in agony, you're still engaged. So please talk to me about your experiences with the games and let's connect. That's it. Thanks for watching. I know it's been years since I did anything on this channel, but if I'm gonna do this again, I don't want it to just be gameplay stuff. I want it to have a little bit more substance to it, and so that's what we're doing. Let me know what you thought. I'm really curious because I put a lot of effort into it, and it's something I'm really passionate about, and I've got a lot more to say regarding this series, man. As far as gameplay stuff is going to be going though, I'm going to do all that stuff on Twitch. So 3 days a week, probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to be streaming. We're going to hang out. You guys can talk to me. I'm super excited. It's going to be awesome. We're going to play so many games. And, but yeah, that's it. That's just a short little, hey, I'm alive. How you doing? Let's be friends sort of outro here. So for now, I'm going to leave you with some words of wisdom from my hero. It sounds weird because we're like the same age. Screw it. Anthony Bridge. Take it away.
When it comes to writing a character, at least for Borderlands, one of the sort of things I tried to do was imagine them just saying a single sentence and knowing at the end of that sentence what that character is all about, what the point of them is. And if I can get one sentence down that feels like, okay, I get this character, then it's okay to move on. That won't work as well for other games. If you're writing something that's more narratively focused, that's probably a little too shallow. But because Borderlands is a game that was about throwing guns and numbers and all kinds of random shit at you, I needed a character that would rise above all that information, that noise, and that would actually stick out. And that, incidentally, is what makes a lot of people hate her, but it's also what makes a lot of people remember her and like her.
Do you remember what the sentence was for Tina?
I believe it was. I think it was the Badonkadonks and Booty Like Pow line. Do you remember that line?
Got a gut full of dynamite and a booty like pow.
Yeah, it was that. So there were some hiccups involved because that.